The war is supposed to be between Russia and Ukraine, but as it stands now, there is flames of fire fuming in Russia between the Russia Defense Ministry and then the Wagner Group headed by Prigozhin. Take note of the Wagner Group and Prigozhin. I'll be mentioning a lot of that. Now, those of you who do not know Wagner Group or who Prigozhin is, Russia, in a conflict or in a war with Ukraine, hired the services of the Wagner Group, which is a mercenary group. Now, what Wagner did was that they supported Russia in fighting Ukraine. In fact, they forced a lot for Russia because they were able to push back most of the Ukrainian forces. They took over some cities like Bakhmut, they pushed back Ukrainian soldiers and all of that. So Wagner Group have been tremendously impactful in this war against Ukraine. Now, what is happening is a lot of information, but I'll try as hard as I can to break it down and summarize it into 3 parts so you can understand it very well. Over the past 1 year, the Wagner Group headed by Prigozhin have been clapping back at some of the heads of the Russian Ministry of Defense, telling them in the face that they could have won this war quickly if they were being given more armor, more ammunition, more tanks, and all of that. But some of the leaders in there are puppets, as he calls them. Some of the allegations that he made towards them is that the war between Ukraine, he is even suspecting that most of the leaders in the defense at Russia are orchestrating this war just to make themselves look better in terms of status and make more money. These are the claims over the past 1 year. What seems to look like a rebellion or a civil war between the Wagner Group headed by Prigozhin and then Russia, the Ministry of Defense or the military in Russia. Now, as it stands, it is even difficult to tell if it's a simple coup or a rebellion. So what started this whole rebellion or coup, in quotes? Prigozhin went on social media live and he made some claims against the Russian defense. Or in this case, let me just give them a name, the Russian forces, the Russian military forces against the Wagner Group forces. Okay, so Prigozhin, who is the head of the Wagner Group, went on social media and then made some allegation claims against the Russian military forces, i.e. some of the leaders. He made it clear that the war in Ukraine is something that is being orchestrated by the Russian military defense leaders just to make their status go up, make more money, and then also look good with a lot of medals. But it is not what it seems to look like in the public eye. And also clapped back at most of the generals. Now, a few hours after he did this on social media, Russian mercenary group, which includes the Wagner Group, one of their camps got exploded. And this explosion was a bit severe, of which Prigozhin have declared it as an attack on them from the Russian generals. He stated that this attack was not from Ukraine, this attack was not from the West, but it came from the East, where the Russian military forces are stationed. It is an attack orchestrated by the generals for the Russian military forces to attack the mercenaries, i.e. the Wagner Group. Now, at some point, if you look at this carefully, this thing is seeming to look like what is happening in Sudan with Bashar al-Burhan and Hemeti, the RSF, and then the Sudanese military forces. After the bombing of the mercenary camp, Wagner launched a serious statement and said he was going to send military troops into Moscow just to face and remove some of the generals. A few hours later, you could see military tanks and military men who are from the Wagner Group trooping into Moscow. And there is a video of Prigozhin sitting down with some of the generals of the Russian military defense and talking to them. In fact, he was very confident and bold. The war between Russia and Ukraine is a little bit slowed down because a huge one is coming up or cropping up inside Russia, Moscow. Watch out for part 2 of this video.